your manifestation will bring out more of who you already are. It will not change who you are. It will not change how you feel. It will amplify who you already are. It will make you more of who you already are. Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new here. My name is Lorena. I am a self-concept coach, and I support heart-centered women to shift their identity or shift their self-concept, embody their highest potential, and become really magnetic to their authentic soul desires so that you can manifest anything that you want in your life into your reality. If you're not subscribed yet, please leave a subscribe so you get informed about future videos and you don't miss out on any future content. And if you like this video, please give it a like as well, because it really helps the algorithm so much. And don't forget to check out the links in the description box below. There's a bunch of free resources. I have a very extensive free guidebook which explains in detail how to shift your state of being and gives you a lot of practices as well. And there's also some free master classes for you to check out. So this video will be all about your self-concept. I have quite a few videos about your self-concept because it's obviously what I teach and what I coach people on. So I'm only going to go a little bit into what your self-concept is, just a short recap to get into the real topic, which is all about how your manifestation will impact your self-concept and how your self-concept impacts your manifestation. So as I said, let's first recap a little bit what your self-concept really is. Essentially, your self-concept is the perception that you have of yourself. It includes the image you have of yourself, the beliefs you have about yourself. It defines or determines how you show up in the world, ultimately how other people perceive you because of this embodiment you show up with. And it impacts also the skills that you're able to learn, the potential that you think you can make happen, the possibilities you see for yourself, the desires you're able to manifest. If you don't think something is possible for you, it definitely will not be. So your self-concept, your identity, your self-image directly projects outward into your reality. Your reality is therefore essentially a mirror of who you think you are and how you feel about yourself and how you perceive yourself. So I want to speak a little bit about the motivation for changing your self-concept. And there are two main motivations that I see most of the time in people. Number one, using changing your self-concept as a means to an end, as a means to receiving your manifestation. So because you know that your reality is essentially a projection of your self-concept, of your state, of the way you see and perceive yourself and feel about yourself, you may try to change your self-concept in order to indirectly impact your reality. So the reason I'm calling this changing your self-concept as a means to an end is because a lot of people only try to change their self-concept because they think it's going to get them what they want. Now, there is nothing wrong with wanting to manifest what you want. I am the first person to support you in that. In fact, it's what I literally teach you and coach you through. But if it's only a means to an end, if you only change your self-concept in order to get something, it's a very backwards approach because it will be really hard for you to release any resistance. It's like the energy is wacky. You're trying to maybe consciously, maybe unconsciously manipulate your reality. It's like when you're in a bar and a man buys you a drink and you take that drink and you receive it and you say thank you, and then they're like, well, now you need to sleep with me. Great example, Lorena. You don't owe that man anything just because he bought you a drink, just like the universe doesn't owe you to give you your desires just because you work on yourself. Now, that's not to say it doesn't work. It's just that if that is your only reason, the energy will be wacky because you're doing it in order to get something in return, which is always manipulative and it just does not feel good. So you're immediately operating from your ego and trying to get, and the resistance is just that much higher. Now, the second scenario that I see, where people don't just want to use it as a means to an end, but they have a different reason for wanting to change their self-concept, and that is they want to change their self-concept because they're not happy with who they are. So that's a step further. It's great that you're not using it as a means to an end. You realize it's not just about manifestation. I actually want to feel better about myself. I want to feel different in my identity. Well, that's great, but also be wary of doing that just because you don't like yourself. In fact, when I work with clients, we always work on true embodied self-love, and self-love is obviously such a buzzword. When I say self-love, people tune out because what does that even mean? But we work on that first and foremost before even getting to changing your self-concept, really, or to the active part of it. Because to be honest, falling deeply in love with yourself can already change your self-concept a lot. So when I say self-love, this is about the way you treat yourself, your body confidence, your relationship with yourself. And why is this important? Because how you approach changing your self-concept really matters. If you try to change your self-concept from a place of self-loathing or not feeling like you're enough or not liking yourself, it will be really difficult to do so. It will be really difficult to change it because you're essentially trying to change your self-concept because you're wanting to manifest loving yourself, which again makes it a means to an end. So the self-love, the self-compassion should come first. But let's talk about what your true motivation for changing your self-concept really should be in an ideal scenario. So first of all, because you just deserve to step into your highest potential and to become the most aligned, most authentic, most embodied version of yourself, and to be able to draw in the possibilities that you're dreaming of and to really feel that possible for yourself, to really believe, to really trust, to really have this deep faith without a doubt. You deserve that. And then also, it's a good idea to change your self-concept because it just changes the way you feel about yourself and about your circumstances and about your reality, and it changes the way you perceive things. I can promise you, when you step into that identity that aligns with the reality you desire to manifest, it's going to happen, no doubt. But the thing is, even if it were to not happen, you would still feel so good about yourself and about your life. And isn't that a great place to be? You want to feel great throughout the process, not just when it's here. Another good motivation for changing your self-concept is because there is a lot of untapped potential in you that you haven't seen yet, that you may not even be able to imagine yet. A lot of people that come into my field have already done a lot of work on themselves, have already manifested amazing things, have seen some successes, and yet I notice themselves still keeping themselves small. Now, this is a human thing to do. There's no judgment. I do this. We sometimes need other people to reflect back to us how amazing we are and how much potential we have. And sometimes we need to create a self-perception of ourselves that doesn't align with who we currently are so that we can create all the things that are possible for us, but that in the previous state of consciousness we didn't see possible for us. The confidence and the magnetism it will give you is insane. Like, I love when new people find me, but I'm also like, oh, you don't know who I used to be. You don't know my story because I used to not show up like this. I used to not be able to sit in front of a freaking camera like this and talk to thousands of people every day. I used to not feel confident to even coach people. I never thought that would be something that I would pursue. I never thought I'd be able to manifest the place where I live now. I never thought I'd be able to create the relationships that I have now. My life has up-leveled. It's had such a glow up in the last few years alone. So whatever's possible for me is definitely possible for you, because I did not used to be the way I am now. I have radically changed my self-concept. And that's the thing, right? A good motivation for changing your self-concept is also because it will change your life and change your relationships massively. And it's not about controlling or manipulating, but because it changes the way you show up in your life, all your relationships will change. And when I say relationships, I mean love relationships, romantic relationships, friends, family, money, professional relationships, your relationship to the things you already have, your relationships to the desires that are yet to manifest, all of it will change. It's a complete transformation of yourself, and it's beautiful. Now, is that not a great motivation to really change your self-concept? So, but here's something important. Your self-concept comes before the manifestation itself. This doesn't just mean, oh, you change your self-concept and then the manifestation comes. It means that if you haven't changed your self-concept and the manifestation comes, you will still feel the same. You will still be the same person. Your self-concept will not change just because you have different circumstances around you. Your self-concept directly impacts how you feel about your reality, current and future. It impacts how you feel about your manifestation before it comes, in the process, in the unfolding, and when it's here. How grateful you're able to be, for example. How much you think you deserve this. So essentially, even if you didn't have to change your self-concept in order to manifest what you want, even if it's just as simple as you affirm something and then it happens, or you visualize something and then it happens, you want to be prepared to receive the thing you desire by changing your self-concept. Because if you're not prepared, here's what happens. It won't feel good to receive it because it might not feel safe. You won't be able to enjoy it, and you will likely lose it or reject it. Great example, my favorite examples that I like to give are money and relationships. If you come into a lot of money and your self-concept doesn't align with that, you'll likely lose that money because it won't feel safe to have it. That's why a lot of lottery winners, first-time lottery winners, go bankrupt within the first few years because they don't know how to hold that energy. Their self-concept is not aligned with having that kind of money. Similarly, if you get into a healthy relationship and you don't feel deserving of that relationship will just bring out more of your undeservingness because subconsciously you will constantly reiterate, oh my God, I don't deserve this. I need to get rid of it. It doesn't feel safe. Which is why if you have any patterns of calling in unhealthy relationships, or you have any patterns in your career that you don't want to have, or in your family or in your friendships or wherever it may be, if there's any pattern in your life that you want to break, it likely hasn't broken because your self-concept wouldn't be able to align with anything else. And if you had a different reality, your self-concept would reject that. So let me put that in a different way. Your manifestation will bring out more of who you already are. It will not change who you are. It will not change how you feel. It will amplify who you already are. It will make you more of who you already are. This is why you can have people who come into a lot of money who do really good things with it, who know how to hold that money. And you have people who come into a lot of money who are still in fear, who are still in scarcity, who are still in lack, who are still mindlessly spending that money rather than investing it in themselves or in things that really serve them and propel them forward. Or a different example that just comes to me is, let's say you manifest a promotion at your work, but if your self-concept doesn't align with that new position, you will feel like an imposter. So change your self-concept for the sake of getting into alignment with your true self, with your authentic self and your authentic soul desires. Change your self-concept for the sake of being ready for your manifestation rather than to force it into being. Your manifestation won't change how you feel, it won't change who you are. It will only amplify the feelings that are already present and the identity that you already embody. So change your identity first, change your self-concept first, change how you feel first so that the manifestation can fall into place and you can truly, truly appreciate it when it arrives. Okay, comment below what identity you are dropping. What is something, a part of your self-concept that you are wanting to leave behind? Thank you so much for being here with me. I'll see you in next week's video.